breaking. Stefan Molyneux is back on X. No way. Holy shit. Dude, it's time to hate our parents or whatever. Isn't that all he does? Am I crazy? Isn't that literally all that bro does is just complain about his fucking mom or something? Where's his Twitter? Do not spank your kids. It's time to have mommy issues again as a 70-year-old man.
This is Stefan Molyneux from Free Domain. And
bro just recorded a cum tribute to Scott Adams.
I just wanted to share some thoughts.
Wait, thanks Scott Adams for all that you do. He's got to be the first person to ever say that. That's insane. That is like an insane thing to say. Scott Adams, we're so grateful for you. Thank you so much for Dilbert. Gosh, what would we do without it?
I just read today, Scott Adams has reported that he has the same kind of cancer, prostate, serious, at least Scott says he's not going to make it probably past the summer, and it spread to his bones. And I just wanted to, of course, express my deepest condolences to Scott. Actually been quite an important influence in my life. I got into Dilbert when I was a software entrepreneur.
I remember when I first got into the Dilbert community. I remember it like it was yesterday. When I opened my first Dilbert comic.
And dealing with
Classic.
Retarded boards and, fairly corrupt salespeople at times, and, the massive gap between marketing and tech, as I was both a chief technical officer and a director of marketing. And his cynicism, his humor, stuff has literally burned into my brain.
My brain was formed by Dilbert comics.
Bits from the old Dilbert comics.
Gosh, I remember.
They nestle and breed in my brain. One of Dilbert's presentations
comics,
which went wrong, and he said, and in conclusion, I hate you all, which kind of burned itself into my brain. Wally's, well, why would I wash my towels when I come out of the shower? I'm the cleanest thing in the house. A towel's supposed to bend. Just absolutely hilarious, warm-hearted, brilliant,
so genius
stuff. And one of my
so smart
fun memories with my brother was,
how are these real people? How does this exist? Like, what the fuck is going on? He's not even just vaguely saying like Dilbert is brilliant. He's recalling the dumbest shit I've ever heard in my life and then going, just utterly brilliant, genius stuff.
As we were on a business flight and reading Scott
Adams, Scott Adams,
and just laughing hysterically at what he wrote. He is an absolute genius and brave. There was a CEO who invited him to come in and pretend to be a business consultant, and he got a bunch of executives who agreed to...
This is fatherless behavior. This is fatherless behavior.
Made absolutely no sense, and Scott Adams put on a wig and a false mustache to make this happen. And that's
dude, he's gonna read it too because he fell off so hard. Reporting in, sir, ready to kill and perform violence for you, sir. Glad to have you back on the platform, sir. It's a breath of fresh air. Have a Bitcoin on the house. Hashtag tip jar. Hashtag name. Hey everybody, long time no chat. I hope you are all having a wonderful Father's Day. Have a look at my free book on philosophy of peaceful parenting. I'd love to hear how you are all doing. Best wishes. Dude, what is with all the glazing? What the when the world needed him most, he reappeared. Welcome back. Welcome. Who the fuck likes Stefan Molyneux? Are these people insane? Who likes Stefan Molyneux? Literally, who likes Stefan Molyneux? How is this real? The Bible says to spank your kids. The rod is like a shepherd's rod. It's designed for the transmission of wisdom and guidance. That's not what they mean. That is not what they mean. That is not what they mean. You had me on your show back in 2016. I had just divorced from my then husband and was serving. I never wanted baby. Sure, I never wanted babies. Reasons for divorce. You made me realize, not just by that conversation, that it was the wrong path. And now I have 2 with my new husband. Degenerato. Wow. Seriously, am I crazy? Yeah, Sam Hyde keeping it real, at least true. True. Go. I was leaving a hate comment before I even saw that. To be fair, I was hating on him when I thought it was just me, okay? I thought I was being brave. I thought it was just me and like Paul Town. Dude, he will read that. 100%, he will see that. Fatherless behavior, glazing Dilbert is insane. True, though. I'm literally right.
Gumption, man. That's pretty wild. That's commitment. And I did have the good fortune to have a conversation with Scott, I think twice on this show, which was really an honor, a very deep honor and privilege for me. And it is the end of an era. His insights into politics were always staggering for me. I used to listen to the morning shows that he did quite a bit. When I got out of politics, I did not follow them as much, though every time I dipped in, he always had something remarkable and brilliant to say.
Genius stuff on every time I open Dilbert, my mind is blown with how genius everything is. It's hard to open Dilbert and not have your mind explode instantly, you know, with just how impressive every idea expressed is.
When I was
Check
young,
Tel Aviv. No, dude, we can't be getting distracted by that coal
me, but not
constantly all day.
I think he's 67 and I'm 58. And I remember when I was younger, I thought of all the people who were just a little bit older than me and how I would feel.
I'll check on my own, but I'm not checking the whole show.
They got sick and died. I remember thinking about Sting for some reason. Sting's in good health. I think his hearing is messed up, as you can imagine, from such an intergalactic rock star. And he put a hearing aid in, and then he said, well, I didn't really like hearing what people had to say, so I pulled it out. He does work with the hearing association. And I think I just remember thinking, what's it going to be like when the people a little ahead of me start to die? And of course, don't you?
Awesome. Wait, awesome. Wait, fantastic.
What it's going to be like.
A little bit sad
when we get
with the ones you like, but generally
slow
good.
Shake of the head from the doctor. What's it going to be like when we get that slow shake of the head from the doctor? Well, doc, are there any alternatives? Are there any treatments? What are my options?
Jordan Peterson moment. This is so sad.
And Scott did try ivermectin. He tried some femboozle doozle stuff or whatever it is. I don't really remember the name because there was little downside, as he points out. And why not, right?
Wow.
Don't we all wonder how, when we know the ending and its time frame, because it's kind of a blur, right? It's kind of a blur. It's kind of a pixelated fog out there. Yes, we could get hit by a bus car crossing the street tomorrow. Or the last time I took a plane, it was shaking like crazy. And of course, you just wonder, hey, what if the wings come off or something like that? And I deeply admire Scott's resolution and his dignity. I mean, the man is in, I assume, considerable, if not downright unbearable pain. he's got arthritis, he's got bad discs in his back, he's got a tumor, and I think they're all.
Thank goodness there's some justice in this world that Scott Adams is suffering. Can we all agree with that at least? Okay. Okay. I don't know if I should be saying that, but hopefully he learns Dharma in the next life. Okay. I don't know if I need to take on the karmic debt of celebrating Scott Adams' death. However, I hope that he learns Dharma in the next life.
Kind of concentrated in the same spot, so I've never really had any back pain, but it's really.
Scott Adams abandoned his sexy young wife when she got cancer. Wait, is that true? Is that real?
Really an ugly thing to go through, and it's not even like you're going through it.
DB just gifted one subscription.
Thank you, Epic DB. Big shout out. I appreciate it. Welcome,
issues.
Posty.
So there are certain health conditions.
PowerChat.live/JimboZoomer. Bankroll the show. Keep it on the air. We're 3% of the way through the donut goal. Bankroll it. Keep it alive. Send him media. Send him whatever you want. Interrupt this with whatever you want. Support the show. Keep it alive. Yeah. If you don't want it to disappear. If you think you missed Ball Town, now imagine there's no shows at all. PowerChat.live/JimboZoomer.
Conditions.
There we go. Thank you, Anonymous. PSA for all the gooners.
Sent $3 for all gooners.
Dear bro, don't
Dear
get
bro.
distracted by the beauty of girls. Just stay focused on your goal. Dear bro.
Facts. PSA to all the gooners. Gooner Lobby has no response. Gooner Lobby is silent on this. They have nothing to say back.
The
So
fine
real.
shits request more Dr. Pepper, please. Sir.
Focus on career, not girls. Because GM is temporary, success is permanent. Focus on.
That's hard as fuck. I'm not even gonna cap. I can't even lie.
Say your last words.
I don't want to die.
And you? End this already. Sonic.
Yes!
Every time you say yes, you will get a weapon.
Yes! Sonic, answer me. Am
Oh, I'm scared. I mean, I just watched
I a rich...
The Final Destination and the Final Destination.
Tebow 13 cent $8 meep.
Thank you, Tebow. Big shout out. I appreciate it. Let's go. Meep.
You never know when somebody's gonna reach
Paul
out their phone.
Town.
You think they're taking out their lighter or their phone? Really, they take out a box cut.
Townhouse. Limited.
It's hard out here, man. There's a lot of crazy people out here nowadays. You look around the streets. Oh, go for it.
This is a great time to be exploitative.
Yeah.
We're gonna go right here.
Are you gonna throw up?
We're going to there. We're gonna go to Burgers, 21 Burgers away. That's all right.
Beacon.
Okay,
What do you mean by
okay.
this?
But, here, look, look.
Alright, let's see. I hope we get it on camera.
Oh my goodness.
I don't want to get a job. I don't want to work, but I want money. And for a guy like me, I never killed anybody, but I could, really easily.
You believe him?
What's going on,
Paul
man?
Town won a long time ago. Did he capture a Jew? Yeah, I think Paul Town's got a Jew captured
I
in his
drug.
closet.
I'm a sick guy. I'm a sick man. I look like a nice guy. I look normal. I look handsome.
I think that's where he's been.
But at the end
He's
of the
looking
day,
after his Jew. He got a pet Jew that he's got making him money. He looks suspiciously normal. Yeah. Thank you for that big shout out. I appreciate it. Okay, back to Stefan Molyneux's wisdom.
That, I don't know, you get a hernia and you get it fixed. So then you hopefully go back to normal, right? And then there's other stuff like hearing or whatever that if if it fries, it's pretty tough to get fixed, and certain conditions is downright impossible. So that's like a hardware issue. A software issue, you can reinstall the OS kind of back to normal. Hardware issues are kind of fixed and permanent. And, you know, Scott, from what I've seen, you know, has had some significant highs and lows in life, which is kind of what happens when you live life in some reasonable way, trying to maximize your potential. And Scott, you know, when he was younger, he was working at Pacific Bell. I think the guy got held up at gunpoint twice in a year or two when he was a bank teller, and then obviously wanted to move into management, and then hit that white male.
Dude, what is he, like an
ceiling,
8? What's Scott Adams' birthday?
Told that he couldn't progress because of his race.
Well, it's just
sex,
a bad. He is. Dude, I just hear he does all this bad stuff, and then I just hear his life, and it's just bad stuff happening to him constantly. He is an 8. June 8th, 1957. So 6. Nine, 8.
Holding stuff. But he would get up at 4 o'clock in the morning, casting about and working on various business ideas. I mean, Scott he started doing cartoons at the age of 6. Like I started writing short stories at the age of 6. And he would get up at 4 in the morning before work and just grind. And
Scott Adams is just a bad person. And so bad things happen to him. And now he's dying in pain. Alone.
Comic strip in the world for a long time. And
that is karma.
I mean, he had a TV show. The Dilbert stuff was everywhere. The merchandise was everywhere. He had the Dilberitos. He had a full food line. He was a restaurateur, but I think lawsuits, if I remember rightly, lawsuits put a stop to that. I'm sorry if I get anything
just do
wrong.
it 5 times and then stop.
And he was married, and then his stepson later on got addicted to drugs and died of an overdose. I think it was fentanyl. I'm just, you know, highs and lows. And highs and lows are the inevitable.
Iran war is sad, but Scott Adams dying is devastating. Yeah, that's how I'm feeling right now.
Byproduct of a life lived with focus, commitment.
But Karasu is a fan, of course, because Karasu is a retarded person, so that's every Scott Adams fan. That makes sense. Adams spoke out on blacks. Okay, well, he's still a fucking retarded, bald-ass bitch, okay? Like, who cares?
Commitment and intensity. And I've read a number.
Alltown does not actually like Scott Adams, you fucking retard. Oh my... Karasu, what is wrong with you?
Of his books, all wonderfully written, incredibly insightful. You know, he's not a philosopher any more than I'm a cartoonist, but I don't judge non-philosophers' books by philosophical standards. So, you know, I had a lot of...
The cent-free dollar's
Thank you,
breaking the
Anonymous.
protest all over USA.
Like equals A-log on every stream, yeah. Like equals watching and making fun of Scott Adams every single day on stream. Thank you. With the 3, breaking new protests all over the U.S. Would you go to this protest? Normalize the unemployed. True. Wow. Jughead meetup. Jughead protest.
Important and powerful stuff to say. Our metaphysics and epistemology would not accord, but humor is such a deep and delightful spice of life. And Scott taught the world not to take itself too seriously. Scott.
Seriously, though, he just confirms the 8 life path. Like, if you're a bad person like Scott Adams,
$5, this will be Knack on the front lines in Tel Aviv.
And you treat everyone around you poorly like Scott Adams, and you're an 8 life path, then you're going to die of ass cancer alone while everyone makes fun of you and hates you, and nobody likes you, and you suck. And in pain. Thank you for the 5. I appreciate it. Big shout out. Thank you, Soiper Party Jughead. Let's see. What is this? This will be Knack on the front lines in Tel Aviv. So true.
He is close. He is near, though. That is true.
Ancient clip.
There he is.
Oh, let me grab
Hey,
something.
Ben. You thought you could get away from me the first time, huh? Without debating me? I just want to talk, please. Stop running! I'm not a threat to you. Look, here I am. I showed up. And I just want to talk about ideas, okay? You're the one that loves the marketplace of ideas so much. Just talk to me.
You make me wanna puke. Hey, you. Really?
That was,
You know what? You should see a doctor.
I don't know if that was optical.
When I say you suck, I mean you really suck.
Get back here, bro. Ben Shapir, bro. Get back here.
You define everything that's wrong with this place. You're really making my skin crawl. What exactly is wrong? There is no fucking point to you.
Laying it on a little thick, that's not even my words. Debate me.
Okay, sorry, I'm back. Back.
Really?
Hey, Ben, really? This guy does have stamina.
Dude,
It just doesn't quit. He
I
just keeps running.
am making
He just
mac
keeps
and
running
cheese.
And running. Very
Dude,
dishonorable.
watch this for
Ben, this
for
is
one
not
more minute.
honorable behavior. You better get back here and debate me on my ideas.
Why are Bryn's eyes so far
Why did you lie
apart?
about
What does that
Cubans,
mean
dude? You said
astrologically?
Cubans vote Republican. They don't vote
That's
overwhelmingly
a
Republican. They
trait of being
somewhat
born
vote
in
Republican.
Cancer,
The exception,
and
not the rule.
I forget what the other
Is this what
part
you
is.
want, Ben? Is this
But
what
that is a
Ben
thing.
wants this
That is an
instead of-
astrological thing.
Oh, taser?
They look more
Do I have the
alien-like.
taser? If I had the taser, I'd be able to subdue him. Do I have a net? Do I have a net to catch him? I don't have anything that's not optical here. Did he tear? No! On second thought, no.
Mac and cheese
On
type.
second thought,
True.
bad idea. Bad idea. Didn't realize the connotations of that one.
What step are you on?
Yeah.
You making the
Disavow
roux
that?
or lazy making out of a box? Who the fuck makes mac and cheese not out of a box? Are you? What is wrong with you people? No, sorry. I'm not even making it out of a box. I'm making an instant, like, in a cup already prepared. But who the fuck is making homemade mac? Yeah, I got up to go make homemade mac and cheese. I'm making the noodles right now. I'm processing the fucking noodles.
That's the only non-lethal weapon I have.
Grow up. Dude, I'm like so triggered today. I don't know why. It really is like the
I wasn't even
astrological.
thinking of it like that, Ben.
I'm gonna crash. I need this mac and cheese. I'm gonna freak out. Thank you for the very generous support. I appreciate it. Big shout out, Swiper Party Jughead. Let's go. True.
Taught the world that competence and management are often complete opposites.
Dude, classic mac and cheese is the way to go. I only made it once in culinary school, but it was fine. You've only made it one time. Why would I be doing that right now? What the fuck? Why would I? No, sorry. If I'm mean today, I don't even mean it. I'm just literally, I don't know why I'm just pressed. That actually, numerologically, it makes sense why I'm pressed, but I'm just pressed today. And I can't explain why other than it's a 7 day, and I just literally am. I'm just like in a mood. Sorry. I'm just getting like pressed literally by everything. This mac and cheese is going to change the whole game. Actually, you know what I'm doing that I do in my mac and cheese is I'm anorexic. I have an ED. No, I don't. But I don't eat enough because I take Adderall and I'm like lazy. And honestly, I just don't get that hungry. So I have to force myself to eat. So I cut a tablespoon or whatever of butter and I throw that in it and then I cook it. And now it's beeping. 1 second.
It's called the Peter Principle. Like you're promoted one level beyond your level of competence. Competence, yeah. And so, you move up until you're bad at your job, and then they don't move you up any further. So you move up one rung past where you're competent. And he demystified bosses. He empowered those who competently do rather than those who incompetently waffle and merely talk. It was a great gift to the world. You know, when I was a kid growing up in England, of course, you know, teachers and bosses and managers. I remember the headmaster of my boarding school, like gods. You couldn't question or evaluate, and how dare you? And you just got to fall in line and conform and probably march off to some godforsaken, rat-infested, mud-soaked trench somewhere in France. Seemed the end result of that kind of authority worship. And Scott absolutely took an irresistible sledgehammer to the authority of bosses and the authority of experts. And, you know, humor, all the way back, I was in King Lear when I was in theater school.
Sorry.
And I was, as most people who read the play, watch the play, or involved with the play.
I use rotini or shell
by
pasta.
The court jester, right? The court jester, the fool. It's the only one who can tell the truth.
ED, so like John Doyle? No, I was saying an eating disorder, I don't have erectile dysfunction. Dude, I lost 20 pounds. I'm down to like 120. It's crazy. You got to start putting butter in your food, in all your food. You got to start throwing that in there, bruh. Anyway, that means anything? Jimbo having cramps. Dude, I'm having cramps. No, I'm not. No. I'm on my period. Cut up a hot dog and toss it in. Look, I don't have a hot dog. Anyway, okay, moving on. Steve Franson's goat right here. True. Back to Steve Franson's goat.
Goes, you can tell them the truth, but you have to make them laugh first, otherwise they'll kill you.
Rose on his period. Yeah, I'm on my period.
Scott, in the most powerful and positive way, really one of the biggest influences.
I'm pregnant. I'm pregnant.
Positive subversion. I mean, there's negative subversion where, you know, your culture has no history and everything you do is illegitimate and, right, you're all criminals like that. That's really horrible subversion. But subversion of the unearned prestige of often accidental authority was something that Scott took a acidic flamethrower hatchet to the base of these almost titanic sequoia trees of authority in our society and just
using Dilbert.
And in
using Dilbert comics.
When I say irresistible, once someone makes you laugh and gives you that dopamine, and I used to, I mean, when I lived in Montreal, I lived in Montreal for 4 years, two years at theater school and 2 years at McGill, finishing my undergraduate in history. And I would get the newspaper every day and I would read it cover to cover. And I would go first to the Dilbert. Always first to the Dilbert. And I bought the books and
genius.
I was never a fan of the TV show. It was a bit too surreal for me, but it's just a matter of taste. It's not anything here or there. But
I don't watch the TV show though. True.
Scott
Adams was like a drug to me. That is literally how he's describing it. It's insane. I wonder how many of the Glazers even made it past 2 minutes of this vid. I have no idea.
A genuine, deep and abiding gift, which is skepticism.
It was too realistic, too surreal.
Of the org chart, skepticism of
the Dilbert movie,
authority.
Though. Good stuff.
Because, I mean, the way that I grew up, it's like, well, everyone who's in charge must know what they're doing. They must be fantastic at what they're doing. They must have this immense talent and skill and ability. And just seeing that chipped away at it was, at least from the British culture that I grew up in. I mean, it felt almost
a sitting flamethrower.
It felt like a misdemeanor at best. And it felt like forbidden knowledge.
The saddest part of Scott Adams dying is that he can't serve life in prison. That's so good. That's true. I'm just going to steal that. Dog holes cooks again.
The skepticism of authority. Was that great Dilbert where he's saying, you know, like, mouse 50-inch CRT monitor. People who don't eat people are the happiest people.
Unfortunately, we can't waterboard him for the rest of his life.
Because the mirror image of Dilbert and the pointy-haired boss, where the pointy-haired boss is skilled with people and incompetent in technology, and Dilbert is competent in technology.
But Stefan Molyneux can still serve his life in prison. That's, you know, we got to look at the upside to all these things. You still could put him in prison forever and waterboard him daily.
Technology and unskilled with people, and that's often the shallow sophist versus the semi-autistic technologist is one of these interlocking things in business that there is no particular solution to, but it always seems to be a kind of fascinating coalescence of jigsaw puzzle pieces. And when Scott moved into politics, my God, I mean,
he was a genius. He was a genius.
Obviously, you make a lot of predictions in the world. I'm more of a free will guy than Scott Adams is. But nonetheless, there's so many variables. Even if there wasn't free will,
there's
way
mean?
Too many variables. It's like a rock bouncing down a hill. You can't say where it's going to end up.
I'm a free will guy?
At the bottom. You know, it's not going to end up at the top, but where exactly it's going to land. So they made some predictions, most of which are very good. I mean, he got Trump because Scott's a trained hypnotist and really deeply understands the power of persuasion.
Scott Adams is a trained hypnotist? Is that... Okay, is he saying... I don't even know all this lore. Is he saying that, like, as a metaphor? Like, because he's good with making Dilbert? Or is he a trained hypnotist? What the fuck? What do you mean? Yes, he is. No, he is. Why is he a trained hypnotist? What the fuck? What? Scott mentions it all the time. He is an evil shaman, and that's why he deserves to be in prison. That makes so much sense. Dude, I have a booger in my nose, and I can feel it. But if I pick it right now on stream, then everyone would clown me, dude.
The persuasion of Dilbert the persuasion of Dilbert was bosses are to it's important to be skeptical of bosses, which is a very valid concern. It's important to be skeptical of bosses, and it's all important to be skeptical of engineers as well. And
I like that
Scott's
both of them aren't engineers.
So good.
Neither of them are.
And his way of
skilled in any way.
I should say, like, it's all past tense. He's still going to keep doing his show.
None of them have any actual skill.
Past the summer, again, assuming that the pain
so
level
true.
is considerable.
So
true. He says he has no good days, and the evenings are even worse, which is why he stopped doing his evening shows on his locals channel. But his political analysis, his analysis of cause and effect, his pulling apart of dominoes of why things happen or why they don't happen, or ways to reverse looking at cause and effect.
The comic writing hypnotist really understands engineering. Yeah. Better than an engineer.
And, you know, also he has muscle issues for decades. I think in the mid-early 2000s, he had spasmodic dysphonia.
Dude, the more they talk about Scott Adams' life, it's just his life being like hard and him just constantly being punished. But also I hear about all the bad shit he does, and like he just kind of sucks in general, and it's like he's just reaping literally what he sows. It's true.
Is it that where he had to end up with a surgery to reroute his vocal cord muscle so that he could speak effectively? And I think he was feeling immense amounts of despair at not being able to talk effectively. And I mean, I talk all the time. I can completely understand the...
Yo!
Paul Town in chat sent $3.
India's ignoring the Paul Town story.
Stop saying Paul Town.
Ignoring the Paul Town story.
I forgot. This is the worst thing he's done.
I never heard about Paul Town.
Okay, yeah, pretend all you want.
Again, I'm going to block you.
Pretend all you want, bitch.
So we're not going to talk about Paul Town, and I'm not going to look into it because you yelled it in caps too many times. All right, we'll get rid of all the Paul Town references. By the way, I was perfectly...
Is that a Paul Town reference?
Look into whatever was going on with Paul Town, but now I'm not going to do it.
Is that a Paul Town reference?
Nope. There will be nothing about Paul Town. No, too many assholes. Too many assholes. And by the way, whatever Paul Town is about, I am not in favor of it. So I'm against Paul Town. I don't even know what this story is.
This is why you're our enemy.
I have no idea. All right, I'm going to turn off YouTube because
this is why you got cancer.
Paul Town. Bye for now.
I'm just going to say it. This is why. Fall down 1. What is this? Breaking 911, caving for quotas. That one's crazy. That one's insane.
Why does everybody ask me if I'm Latina? Isn't it obvious?
Holy shit. That one and that one both have BBLs, clearly. Holy. Dude, did you see Sarah Stock pressed it saying, no, they can't stay. No, Latinas can't stay. Classic.
The horror of not being able to communicate and the feeling of being locked inside a silenced, solitary confinement prison of your own skull flesh would be pretty appalling. So I have great sympathy, but he worked hard and he got the right surgery and his voice completely recovered. And I really do believe that the bitter, acerbic, hilarious fool, I'm not calling him a fool, I'm just saying that the humor in his show is foolish and extreme, but uncovers immense truths. You know, like if you're cleaning as a stone and you use very high pressure water, right? I mean, that high pressure water is extreme. It's not rain. It's not a bucket. It's that high pressure.
That's true.
And what it uncovers, what it blows away, that high pressure acerbic foolishness uncovered so many essential truths for me and liberated me from the automatic programmed.
Paul needs to debate Scott on the deathbed so he can't dodge him. True.
This sort of automatic looking at the aristocracy or looking at the sort of the ruling class.
I don't see you filling the big booty quota, Sarah. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, if you want to get rid of the fucking Latinas, I don't know, they're going to need to do some work.
Top class.
We're ready for that before the economy is ready.
He just blew all of that away. And that was really important to me because, and I'm trying not to make this about me at all, right? But
Glenn Beck saw Wurzelroot's tweet? No way.